Up to this point, we've created all the building blocks of device management. But in this lesson, it's all going to come together with blueprints. Go over to blueprints here, click on that in the sidebar. And just a little background on these. They are a collection of configurations, apps, users, and devices that define how a managed device will behave. You can kind of think of a blueprint as a recipe. We've got our ingredients like our managed apps and our configuration profiles, and we can assemble those ingredients into a single list that Apple Business will use to automatically configure our device. You can have any number of blueprints depending on purpose, but let's go ahead and start by creating our first one. And we have options to either choose a template to start from, like blueprint for user devices or blueprint for service devices, or we can create a custom one. And we're going to go ahead and create a custom one in this case. So we'll just click on custom blueprint and hit continue. And the first thing we need to do is just name our blueprint. So I'm going to call this one test blueprint. Now to get started, we're going to go ahead and just add our Wi-Fi configuration here. So let's go ahead and hit the plus button next to configurations, and we'll choose home office Wi-Fi, and we'll hit save. Then we also need to add our MacBook Air here. So under devices, we'll hit plus, and we'll find that MacBook Air that we had selected, and we'll go ahead and hit save. That way what we can do here is actually test our new Wi-Fi configuration profile on an actual machine. Right now all we have to do here is click on create blueprint. And once it's all done creating that blueprint, we should be all set. What we've done here is we've effectively created the blueprint to include our MacBook Air, and we've got our MacBook Air assigned to our built-in device management with an enrollment profile set up as a company-owned device. Now, all we have left to do now is boot up our MacBook Air and step through Setup Assistant to enroll it in management, and then Apple Business will handle installing our Wi-Fi configuration. So let's go ahead and give that a try. Alright, switching over to my test Mac here. One thing I should remind everyone of is that, as we discussed earlier in this section, to enroll a Mac using automated device enrollment, that Mac has to be erased and reset back to factory default. This will allow you to step through Setup Assistant again, and that's actually where the device management service connects to the Mac for the first time. So let's go ahead and step through this process together on a newly reset Mac. Let's go ahead and choose English for our language. We're going to set this machine up as new. Not going to set up any accessibility settings as of now. Let's go ahead and join our Wi-Fi. All right, once we join the Wi-Fi, this will be the new thing that you may or may not have seen before, but this is Apple Business, and it's now connected up and seen that we do have device management enabled for this device. And it tells us that the device is owned by our company here and that it's ready to be enrolled in management. And the option we have here is to click on enroll. And now it's going to start retrieving that enrollment profile that we had set up. All right, next it's going to have us step through the rest of Setup Assistant. At this point, our device is actually part of Apple Business, and it is now being managed by Apple Business at this point. And now it's like setting up a device like you normally would new out of the box. So we'll go ahead and put our name in here. Set up my local password. Accept our terms and conditions here. We'll agree. Go ahead and enable location services. I'll set up screen time later. Let's skip Apple Intelligence for now, and we'll skip Siri for now. Not going to enable File Vault just yet. We'll talk more about that here shortly. And I'm going to go ahead and set up Touch ID later. Light mode is fine. Go ahead and allow it to update automatically. And now we're at the welcome screen. So we'll go ahead and click on Get Started. And you'll see now we're at the desktop, and we should already be connected to that wireless network that we had configured. So we actually view the Wi-Fi configuration settings inside System Settings and make sure that it's actually applied. So let's go ahead and take a look at where that's at. Click on System Settings here. and under General, and then scroll down here until we get to Device Management. You're going to see a couple of things. MDM configuration is listed here, as well as Wi-Fi. So if I click on MDM configuration, double click on that, it's going to show that we are connected to Apple Business, and you can see it's got Apple Incorporated Cloud MDM listed here, so that's Apple Business. It talks about all the things that Apple Business has the right to do on my machine, and it highlights some of the things in red that we should be aware of. And it shows some of the settings that have been applied and some other information about certificates and things like that here as well. Let's go ahead and hit OK to that. And then right here we have our Wi-Fi config as well. And that shows that it was installed by Apple. It's a Wi-Fi network. It shows the Wi-Fi network that it's connected to and the other information about it. So it shows that our actual configuration that we created in the last lesson has applied as well. So if your machine looks like this, congratulations. You've successfully enrolled a managed device, and you're now able to remotely add additional configurations and applications. In the next few lessons, we're going to quickly review the other configuration options available in Apple Business. And now that you have a managed device, you can add any other configuration to your test blueprint, and it gets installed on this managed Mac automatically over the air, which is very cool.